Joanna here, OneCuriousCarnivore. I thought I'd better report in to you about what's happened with my OMAD experience. Had a bit of reflection in the last 3 or 4 days because I had a little injury in the kitchen. This little tiny band-aid is hiding 5 stitches. And I have to do everything with my 4 fingers and not use my thumb. Thanking the way everything worked out, I'm right-handed, not left-handed. So, OMAD and me. I suppose before the injury even came about, we have the situation of me becoming very, very hungry. So, doing OMAD very strictly for 2 weeks solid, I came to a point where I got really hungry and I needed to eat. So something had happened with my metabolism, with my nervous system, and I didn't stop to make a decision about whether I should or whether I shouldn't. I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. It's the weekend. I'm going to step off OMAD. Oh, did it feel good to step off OMAD. See, when I started OMAD, it just started happening quite naturally that I could skip breakfast and then I'd just eat lunch, and had a lunch big enough that I could manage. And then it turned into needing to eat that big meal at breakfast time. And then a week of doing that, and I wasn't able to fit in as much at breakfast time. And then I needed to eat more. So I decided to go off OMAD and I'll go back onto OMAD if it naturally occurs. It hasn't naturally occurred. I also injured my finger. So I went off OMAD on the Saturday, and then Sunday night I injured my finger. I taped it up and I reviewed it at 4 o'clock Monday morning, was still bleeding and throbbing. So I took myself to the emergency department, sat around and waited for a doctor to be available to stitch it up for me. And a couple of days of painkillers and a couple of days of detoxing the anesthetic that he poked around my thumb so that I didn't feel a thing, and the tetanus injection that I had to have. The toxicity has been noticeable. I have a little sty trying to come up in my eye, which I haven't had for months and months and months. Carnivore just wiped that. And so that's a little bit of infection trying to make a little home in my eyelid. My elbow, oh my gosh, I have not had an itchy eczema-ish elbow for, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years. It just went away when I went carnivore, and whatever was in those injections making me itchy again. I'm sure it'll detox, it will go away. But I've still kept my same routine, although it's always, it's been a bit harder. But I did have to make some decisions. So because of my thumb injury and the toxins bringing my mood right down, I was very borderline depressed for a day or two. And I'm very grateful for some social interaction that I had on the Tuesday night, because that brought me out of it. And not completely, but for the time that I was around these lovely people. And today is Thursday, and I think I'm a lot more clear today, hence hopping back in front of the camera. I could not even imagine having the clarity to be able to talk to you without having to edit every second. Oh gosh, oh no, don't, oh damn. I don't bother if I can't record it, just talking to you straight. And if I fumble a little bit, that's okay. But I'm a teacher. I can just talk. So yeah, I didn't feel like talking to anybody. I read my book a lot. I couldn't even concentrate on watching YouTube documentary type things. Carnivore content was very limited. I think I only listened to interviews with Dave Mack because they're so comfortable and chatty. But I couldn't do any kind of studying or concentrating. So I feel like I'm a little bit back on board today. So I have some opinions about toxins, and I might make a separate video about that because we're up to 5.5 minutes on my OMAD report. So OMAD, I did it strictly for 2 weeks. The first week was easy, and because I was eating the meal, the big meal in the middle of the day, I enabled enough, I don't know, desire for eating such a big meal, which I ended up not being able to continue with. It was just too big. It was uncomfortable. And I think it was big, too big enough to actually cause an insulin spike that felt like I ate sugar. And I don't like that feeling. Been there, done that. I really like just eating what I like to eat. And I don't fall off the ingredients list ever now. So with that advantage of having done carnivore for such a long time, and now I've deleted dairy and stevia and coffee. So there's no encouragement to eat anything sweet. There's no I need a boost of energy kind of habits with the coffee. There's no I'll just treat myself with something, eggs and stevia, or make some sort of concoction. There's none of that anymore. There is just, what am I going to eat because I'm hungry? And it'll be meat or fish with eggs. And the most delightful thing that I eat is egg yolks, and I really like them. And today I discovered which is also part of the fun of carnivore, is discovering another way to prepare my meat and eggs that's a little more delightful. So I discovered I did a little bit of the carnivore rice recipe with egg yolks, raw egg yolks over the top. So it's exactly the same as eating eggs, butter, and a bit of gelatin and a bit of salt. But gee, it was really yum. Like the way that it came together was delicious. So I think I like to have a bit of that fun with carnivore, and I like it to be a bit spontaneous. And the one thing I never ever do is purchase outside of my ingredients list. That's my rule. I can make whatever I want in whatever quantities I want. I don't want that much anymore. With what's in the ingredients box. That's it. That's my rule. So I have stopped doing OMAD because after having my injury, I recognized that because I'd come off OMAD for the Saturday and the Sunday because I was really quite hungry, and I thought, oh, well, I'll do a couple of days of not being OMAD because, you know, maybe my body just is missing some stuff. So I'll just eat. And then it will be easy to go on OMAD because I'll have feasted, and then I can just fast a little bit. What I recognized with this thumb thing, these stitches in my thumb, is that doing OMAD felt too much of an extra stress with this being a stress. And that made me realize that OMAD is not easy for me. It was exciting to be able to reach a goal and do OMAD again. That's not what it's about for me. Even though I am kind of like, yay, big tick, you know, did OMAD. Long term, OMAD's not for me. I have my major issues are lipedema, obesity, and I have a nervous system condition, which makes everything very sensitive for me. So I do a lot of work to keep my environment, outside of me and inside of me really nice and peaceful. And OMAD is not that for me. Maybe it is for a couple of days. If it happens naturally, I'm busy and I haven't got time to eat, and then I'm just really ravenous, so I eat a huge amount and then I don't want to eat anymore. If it happens naturally, then it's for me. But if I'm doing it for meeting a goal, meeting an ideas goal, that this would be great because then I'll get lots of autophagy and that will help my body, that's not necessarily avoiding the stress. That's following an ideal, following a philosophy. And carnivore for me is not about an eating program that follows a strict prescriptive philosophy. The prescription is the ingredients list for me. That's all it is. And I've restricted my ingredients list to mostly grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish only, some of which are in tins, like sardines and herring. Try to get them in salt water. If I can't, in spring water. If I can't, I wash them lightly to get the oils and saucy things off. And I try not to buy those, but things are a bit tight around my area with tin fish. Eggs, good butter, good salt. I use Celtic sea salt because the mineral makeup of Celtic sea salt is that very, very close to blood plasma. So I figure, hey, it's just like me. So I'll eat that salt. And I take iodine every morning and magnesium, and I take vitamin D on the weekends and a big dose of vitamin D on the weekends. And what else? Oh, I use Shilajit. I'm a strange one. I use it when I brush my teeth. I don't know, I started doing it as a quirky thing and just kept doing it. And because I don't need the sweet taste in my mouth, I can have a toothpaste that tastes like dirt. And I'm quite okay. I'm strange. I am very strange. I enjoy brushing my teeth now because they stay really clean. Oh, look, there's a hole. I get a crown in 3 months. Oh, by the way, the dentist said that it healed up almost too well. So go carnivore. So no more OMAD for me unless it just happens. I really do believe that I was following an idea, and this competitive part of me was really trying to meet that goal and make it work, and I can do this, I can be like everybody else, except I'm not like everybody else. And you might not be either. I think we really have to think about, I don't know, what feels right. Not yeah, so there's a difference between I feel like I want a lolly, and which isn't like an egoic feel, or I feel more comfortable like this. And I'm inclined to believe that maybe perhaps in a female's body, or the biology of the female requires a little bit more stability and peace and not going at those hormetic stresses too hard. When I am happy, things go well. And I was happy to try OMAD. I really, really was. And now I'm happy to not be doing OMAD. So I'm basically doing 2MAD. I eat when I'm ready to eat. So sometimes it'll be a breakfast, sometimes it'll be a mid-morning, and then I'll eat again. Generally will have beef in the day somewhere. This morning I had fish and eggs, And I know that won't last as long as if I had burger patties or a steak and eggs. So I will probably have a steak this afternoon and maybe some egg yolks. And that'll be the day's food. So lesson for me with OMAD was a nice try, was a nice idea. I think it worked to sort of put a bit of stress in the situation. I probably did it based on a prescriptive idea for about 3 or 4 days too long. And so my lesson is to not have such strict ideas, and to allow the flow and ease, and to listen to what my body wants me to know. One very curious carnivore, coming back to life after the kitchen accident and all the drugs that they injected. And I will see you shortly.